Welcome to this episode of Battlefield America. Today we're here with Ryan Bundy and his wife Angie Bundy. Ryan's running for governor of Nevada, and I wanted to welcome you guys to our show. So we're going to talk about something that has been in, not in the news, but people talk about. And every time we do a video, every time we do a story, people comment about your looks and about your face and about, and they don't know what happened. I want you to tell people in your own words what happened to you, and not just what happened to you physically, but what has happened to you emotionally, and that's made you who you are today, the man you are today, willing to stand here and run for governor against both parties.
Okay. Well, shortly after my 7th birthday, I was backed over by a car. The car ran up onto my head, it fractured my skull, and did some nerve damage on the left side of my face. And so from that time till now, I've had partial facial paralysis. It was a motor nerve that was damaged. I could still hear, see, smell, taste, everything just fine. It's just the nerve that runs the muscles quit working. And so my face was drooped. It was immediate, apparent, and again, I was just 7 years old.
You're lucky to be alive.
Yeah, that's
car
been
ran
said
over your head.
Yeah, it ran over my head. So I've been called
You
hard-headed
got a hard
too.
freaking head, don't you?
But I don't know if that's a good attribute or bad, but it saved my life that day. So anyway, so yeah, I've been through a little bit on that.
And you were 7 years old. You had this issue happen, and you went back to school. What happened at school? How did the kids treat you?
You know, just shortly after I went back, just within days. I mean, the accident also broke my arm. I was still in a cast, and yet I've got a kid here that's making fun of me. And I had to, defend myself a little bit because of that. But then later on, kids that had been my friends, some of them kind of departed and were a little standoffish. Some older kids gave me the nickname of Popeye. I kind of like that actually, because Popeye's tough, So I went with that, but still that derived from my lopsided face. But over the time I've been made fun of. I've been avoided. I've been jeered at. It's interesting. I kind of wonder why, and it must have to do with my face. But it seems like I'm always pulled out of line for extra inspections if I go across the border into Canada or Mexico, or at airports. I'm always given extra inspections, extra interrogations, and so forth. And I can only.
So growing up with this, what do you call it? What do you like to call it? I mean, is it an injury that you sustained? What is it?
Yeah, I perceive myself as normal, but of course, look in the mirror on the photographs, I'm obviously not.
Right.
But I got a crooked face. That's all there is to it. Just straightforward. I got a crooked face.
Okay. So with a crooked face, how was that getting dates when you were a teenager?
It was tough. There were times, prom or so forth, that I'd ask up to 8 different girls and got 8 different no's. So I got a little lonely
tough.
times. Yeah.
That was tough. When did you meet?
We met, he was my home teacher, like the LDS community will understand that. But I was in college, and we met at church, actually.
And what did you think when you first saw Ryan?
Well, I was actually kind of engaged when we met, but my boyfriend was on a mission. Ryan likes a challenge. That's about what it boils down to. Anyway, he and I actually were good friends by the time he asked me out, and he's an incredible person, good quality person, and we had spent a lot of time in conversation.
But he has a crooked face. Did it have an effect on you?
No, I didn't see the crooked face. In fact,
What did you see? What did you see?
Even when people would say what happened to his face, like I'd have to think for a minute, like, did he get hurt again? Because he kind of gets hurt in his work a lot, and then okay, I don't see the crooked face. I just fell in love with the man.
What do you see when you see him?
I see a perfect man. I think he's really good looking. I don't see a crooked face. That's just me.
Since he's been running for governor, since he's been in the press for years now, publicly on TV and the news, you have experienced some cruel behavior
Really
from
mean.
people online.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Can you tell us a
People
little bit about
behind a
that?
screen will say mean things.
Such as what?
Well, they've called him Shrek, and they comparing to the guy on the Goonies, and I guess we'll just put it all out there because we'll start it all up again after this. But it actually hurts me probably more than him. It really hurts me. Like, it tears me up because I know what a good man he is. He's the father of all 8 of my kids. He's been my provider. He's been my rock. He's been my protector. So it really hurts when I see it. And yet I see those commercials of some of the, superstars reading what people say, and people are just mean online. I think it's because you're not facing somebody. You can say whatever you want about somebody, and I don't know if it makes people feel better or what, but it really tears me up when he's put down.
Do you defend him? Are you out there online defending him?
I did for a
What do
while.
you say to them?
I did for a while.
What do
I
you say
did
to
for a
them?
while. I was just like, you guys don't even know him. Why would you say such a thing? How could you be so cruel? And then I just got to the point where I just had to ignore it. It would tear me, it would bother me for days. And I have 8 kids to raise. I can't be a
What
depressed
about your
mom.
kids? Do they hear these
I
things
just tell, yes,
at school from other
yes,
people?
I tell them to ignore it. They do. They read it, especially the older ones that are online more. Yeah, they read it, and we just ignore it. Because we know who Ryan is. He's an incredible man. If you can't look past his face, I'm sorry, you're shallow.
So let's ask you about this, Ryan. So why haven't you pursued plastic surgery?
We considered several different cosmetic surgery options. Each one of them has a particular side effect. Anyway, there's various reasons why I chose not to pursue them. The problem is actually a nerve that has been damaged. And I did have one surgery that went in there. What had technically had happened was there was a bone sliver that was puncturing the nerve. That sliver has been removed and tried to rejuvenate that nerve. It has partially rejuvenated. So that one surgery was somewhat successful. But because the muscle had not been used for so many years, it had atrophied and has not worked. My hope has always been that it will begin to work again. And I do see very small progress in my muscles and so forth. And because I have that hope, I haven't wanted to do some cosmetic surgery that would take away that possibility of a natural recovery. Now, it's been years, but hey, I am who I am, so I'm okay with it.
So you're comfortable in your own skin,
Yes, I am.
and you don't care what people say anymore. You've lived with this now since you were 7.
Yeah, and I learned, especially through junior high and high school, that I can't be so concerned about what others think of me. Of course, going through those awkward years, I tried to fit in every way that a normal teenager, adolescent, tries to fit in. And I come to the conclusion that I can't be a pleaser, a people pleaser. I've got to stand on correct principles and not
Does that
worry-
affect your race for governor? And if so, does that affect why you're running?
Yes, it does. Maybe not so much why, but it certainly affects the qualities which a governor needs to possess. I know that a governor will be pressured by other levels of government. He'll be pressured by lobbyists. He'll be pressured, in maybe other ways to conform to this way or that way. But because I've been through a lot of these pressures, dealing with my face and so forth, I've learned how to deal with pressure. And I've learned to stand on correct principles regardless of what others think and say. And so it's made me stronger, it's made me truer, it's made me more able to fulfill this position and to be able to withstand the pressures that will be applied to the governor.
Obviously, running for office, anyone running for office, is accused of things. They're called names. So you feel like you've prepared all your life since you're 7, since your crooked face injury, for governor, for office, because you can sustain yourself through being called names, being attacked. How was it in jail, when you were there for 2 years? Were you called names by the guards, or how did your crooked face affect your time in jail, if any?
It didn't really see much of effect in there.
But people on the outside were calling you names while you're in jail.
True. I mean, I've been
And-
called, inbred, mongrel, degenerate. Anyway, it's been interesting.
And that doesn't affect you? That doesn't, I mean, it's got to affect you somewhat.
No, I've got past that.
It just rolls off.
It just doesn't matter.
Wow.
Okay.
So the fact that you have a beautiful wife, 8 beautiful kids, how has that played in your life and your own view of yourself?
Well, I've always tried to do good and tried to do right and tried to be good to other people around me. And, I have a very beautiful wife. I love her very much. And we've been married for 20 years. It took me a little longer to find her because of some of these same things we've talked about. But I view myself as a good man. It's because what I try to be. And that's what I always have tried to be. It hasn't made me perfect, but hey, it's made me better, it's made me stronger, it's made me truer, and all of these experiences, my experiences as a married man and as a father, anyway, all of these things add up to who I am today.
What's your website?
It is RyanBundyGovernor.com.
Excellent. So you can find out more information there at the website about Ryan Bundy and his campaign for governor. I want to thank you guys for this interview. I know it was something that you wanted to do. You reached out because you wanted to answer these questions yourself, which takes a lot of courage. And I want to thank you for reaching out to us, to coming on the show and being open like you were and have been today.
Well, thank you, Rob. And just know that when you look at my crooked face, you can use that as an assurance that I have the strength to stand up against pressure.
Great.
Know that my crooked face, behind my crooked face, is a straight heart and a sound mind that will stand up for your rights and protect them.
Great. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
This is Battlefield America.
Newsflash. Local attorney Paul Patter wins a $160 million verdict against a strip casino.
Paul Patter got me a $160 million verdict.
In a wreck, need a check? Don't settle for pennies on the dollar. At Paul Patter Law, we know how to win. We recently received one of the largest verdicts in Nevada history, $160 million. As I always say, don't get mad, get legal.
Paul Patter got me a $160 million verdict.